Let's face facts. The recession is here. There's virtually nothing other than a miracle of the Lord that could stop it at this point. We are likely seeing months of a quarantine in the United States, Europe, and beyond. Discussion of a cure this week seems to have really been overhyped, as doctors are telling us to temper expectations. There is no telling what the long-term implications of this crisis will be. But in the short term, what can you do to protect yourself? Today, I'm going to tell you why it isn't too late to start making good Hello and welcome to BitBoyCrypto, your one-stop shop for all things related to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I make videos on this channel almost every single day. If you like what you hear or see, then please make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell to turn on notifications. If you'd like to take the conversation even further, then please join my Telegram group, the Bit Squad. Alright guys, today we are going to be taking a look at how you can protect your finances at this very moment. This is the fourth and final part of my series, Recession-Proof Investing. Originally, I had wanted to make this video about how you can prepare for a recession, but the truth is, it's here, guys. It seems to be impossible to avoid at this point. I think telling people how to prepare for a recession is much likely more appropriate and beneficial when stocks are on the way up rather than when they're on the way down. Because at this point, it's already too late to prepare. So instead, we are going to take a look at 4 ways that you can still navigate this recession without losing everything. There's a thought that everyone goes bankrupt during a recession. That's due to the fear and panic that a recession can cause. People remember 2008 and just how devastating it was. And while I would like to tell you that 2008 was an outlier and most recessions aren't that bad, it looks like this one could get even worse. 2008 was a much worse recession than normal. But what we are looking at today has the potential to crash economies and burn them to the ground. I mean, all business in California and New York was just shut down. Airlines and hotel stocks could go to zero. That's a legitimate warning from real financial advisors, which I'm not, as you guys know, but that's what some are telling people. Could you imagine if Delta or Hilton stock goes to zero? I thought we invested in the Ponzi scheme, but apparently maybe we're a little bit smarter than people are giving us credit for. So let's go ahead and get started with 4 ways that you can survive this recession. First, we have the golden rule of a recession. Do not panic. I think this is probably the very most important thing you can remember. It's easy to get overwhelmed with fear and make rash decisions. We've talked an awful lot about how investing is purely psychological. Mankind's pattern of decision-making around investable assets is, at least to some extent, predictable. You will always have exceptions to the rule, but in general, a good TA strategy works. So let's think about that. If investing is psychological and the best traders are able to separate their emotions from investment strategies, doesn't it stand to reason that fear and emotion are the enemies of safe investing? The more you panic, the worse your decisions will be. Now, you also don't want to just sit on your hands and do nothing during this time. If you have bills coming up, then they will need to get paid. Well, I guess unless the government freezes bills, which honestly, I'm not ruling out at this point. But you can't live in fantasy land like the bills and responsibilities you have don't exist. They do. The best way you can balance keeping calm and taking care of your responsibilities is to actually sit down and write up a plan for yourself. Set goals during this time. When you start to get worried or fearful, simply go look at your written plan to keep yourself on track. Strategy number 2 is to take inventory of your expenses. You know how it goes. Day to day, you don't realize just how much money is getting siphoned out of your account by subscription services. But if you actually look at your monthly statement and add up all the 99-cent app subscriptions, website memberships, and upsells from your satellite service, then I think that you would be shocked at just how much that adds up to be. When life is good and money is rolling in, those things can sometimes be just not worth your time to fix, and they run unchecked. But when times get thin, it's important enough to even spend a full day getting rid of any expense that you're not actively using. And let's be for real here. You're going to be at home in your underwear for the foreseeable future. You don't have anything better to do during this time, so you might as well thin out your expenses. Every extra dollar that you can squeeze out during this time is very important. And the reason being is because the great thing about recessions is that they are the absolute best times for you to make money. Every bull run starts where one recession ends. While it is impossible to determine the exact bottom until later down the line, being able to save some extra money to invest once we are in the general vicinity of a bottom can pay off big time down the road. Trimming your expenses will be just the way to maximize your returns, and if you are possibly facing the loss of your job, or you might lose your business over this crisis, then it is going to be even more important for you to cut expenses. Because if that is the case, you may want to consider doing things like cutting the cord to your cable, finding cheaper auto insurance, and finding other ways that you can save money. Third, do not take on any new debt. I know a lot of realtors, and they are telling me that if you are in the market to buy property, do not buy right now. The real estate market is extremely uncertain at the moment, just like, of course, everything else in our world. So buying when the market is almost certainly going to decline is not a good idea. You could end up upside down quicker than usual. We do not know how long this crisis or recession is going to last. You should not be taking on any new financial commitments during an uncertain time like this. Now, there will be time, as I mentioned earlier, when buying things like property will be effective and advised. When you are looking to add debt by buying a new car, a new property, or maxing out credit cards, it's very important to make sure you are looking at your earnings versus expenses. If you are in the majority of businesses or careers in the world right now, chances are you are going to be taking a huge hit if you haven't already taken one. One bad thing about downtime, i.e. sitting around your house, is that you lose structure. When people lose structure in life, they tend to go back to what they are comfortable with, what they already know. And for many people, this could be a bad thing, as many tend to turn back towards their vices when they're bored. For some people, this could be alcoholism, drugs, gambling, or overeating. But for many people, their worst vice is spending money and buying things that they don't need. As you're sitting around all day browsing the internet, you may feel strong urges to buy crap that you don't need. Do not fall victim to this temptation. Lastly, the fourth way to navigate and survive a recession is to make sure you have some level of liquidity. Having cash on hand is important for all kinds of reasons, but I feel like that right now, with what we're dealing with in this particular crisis, it's more important than ever. We don't know when this will end, and we don't know what it's going to look like when it's over. There are already reports everywhere about Bank of America only allowing customers to get out $3,000 at a time. We've seen capital controls placed on banks around the world in countries like Hong Kong, Iran, Argentina, Ecuador, Venezuela, and more. You want to make sure that you have cash on hand in case this turns into the light version of The Walking Dead. While I certainly doubt that that is going to happen in reality, I'm also not dumb enough to rule it out completely. I know I'm making sure I'm prepared to be the Rick Grimes of this outbreak. You aren't going to want to be showing up at my house dressed up like a zombie anytime soon. But in all seriousness though, you do not want to be in a situation where food and supplies start running short and you don't have access to the money in your bank, because that could be one of the scariest situations you could find yourself in. This is one reason why Bitcoin in a future led by digital currency is going to be important. It's crazy we even have to think about these crazy situations right now. But as long as you follow these 4 ways to survive a recession, you should be fine. Remember that millions can be made by making the right moves right now during this time. And millions are made in every single recession. It's weird because your heart and your emotions will try to tell you that that is not true and that the sky is falling and that you should panic. If the Black Death was not enough to destroy the world, then certainly this epidemic we are facing now will not either. We will get through this. It's pivotal that you listen to your brain and logic. You know the right way to make money and smart decisions. It's time you buckle down and do it. This is what you've been training for. And after going through an entire crypto bear market, if you've been around that long, chances are you're prepared to come out the other side of this like a champ. But now it's your turn. Did I leave something out that you feel like is very important? If I did, please let me know your best tip for surviving a recession down below in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you smash the like button for me and hit subscribe to become a member of the fastest growing community in crypto, the Bit Squad. Before long, we are going to be passing all the other YouTubers that you watch, so you might as well go ahead and jump on board now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a blessed day. BitBoy out.